2022 U.S. National Figure Skating Men's and Pairs. I think the U.S. Olympic men's team is more or less set, and national is just a formality. Hopefully, the top three, Nathan Chen, Vincent Zhou, and Jason Brown, will all perform well at national. However, even if things don't go according to plan, these three men will still make the team. While national can be a deciding factor for some federation, and the U.S., especially for men this year, I think it's just another competition. The top three have been pretty consistent all season, and with all three of them making the Grand Prix, I don't see how they're not going to Beijing. I don't I don't think a poor showing at national will be sufficient to keep them off the team. Now, I'm pretty sure the podium will be Nathan Gold, Vincent Silver, and Jason Bronze. However, you never know. While unlikely, if Nathan is not on top of his game, Vincent can sneak in another win. However, I think Nathan would have to bomb pretty badly for him not to end up with the title. Now, there are a few men who could become podium spoilers, although they still would not make the team. Spoiler number one is fan favorite Jimmy Ma. Jimmy is having one of the best seasons of his career. While he doesn't have the technical content to fight it out in the long program, Ma can make a statement in the short. And if other skaters falter, Jimmy may be able to do just enough in the long program to get himself on the podium. Next, we have Tomoki Hirotashi. So much talent and so little to show for it. However, Tomoki has the arsenal to compete at the top level. That is, if he ever decides to deliver. Yet, what better place to finally deliver than at nationals? We also have Katman Polkinen, another skater that has placed high in the short program but cannot keep it together in the long. Cadman is a really good skater and the judges want to help him. However, he's just not giving them the chance. If he rises to the occasion this time, we could see a podium shakeup. Last but not least is the new U.S. men hopeful, 16-year-old Ilya Melinin. While unpolished and in need of refinement, Ilya does have the technical jumping power to play with the big boys. However, can he deliver under the national spotlight? He could also end up on the podium. While I think it may be possible for these men to make it to the podium and play spoiler, I don't see the Federation sending any of them. Body of work alone would dictate that the U.S. men's team will be made up of Nathan, Vincent, and Jason, and probably in that order. But then again, men do tend to underperform across the board. So who knows what will happen at nationals? Let me know if you agree with my men podium or if you have someone else you would put on the podium and on the U.S. team. Leave me a comment. Pairs will likely be similar to men, and that the two teams that are going to Beijing is already more or less determined. At this point, I think the podium for pairs will most likely be Alexa Canaram and Brandon Frazier for the gold, Ashley Kane Gribble and Timothy LeDuc the silver, Audrey Liu and Misha Mitrofanov for the bronze, and Jessica Callahan and Brian Johnson just off the podium. I know based on this season performance, Ashley and Tim are ahead of Alexa and Brandon. However, Alexa is a fighter, and I don't think this team is taking what has happened so far this season lying down. I think Alexa and Brendan will come into nationals ready to fight. And that fighting spirit and anger will probably what will push them to the top of the podium. As for Ashley and Tim, from what I've seen, I don't think the national judges have been much inclined to push them ahead of other US team. So I think if Alexa and Brendan are clean and Ashley and Tim are clean and the judges have to pick, they will probably put Ashley and Tim in second place, which is also where I have them. As for the third and fourth place finish, I think this will be the part that will be the hardest for the judges. If we are speaking in terms of quality of elements, overall ice presence, packaging, maturity, performance, then Jessica and Brian are miles ahead of Audrey and Misha. However, when it comes to consistency and who is likely to deliver under pressure, I would put my money on Audrey and Misha. Looking ahead to who can compete internationally and be consistent enough to get the judges on their side, I would also say again, Audrey and Misha. I think they are the safer bet for the US to make, and that is why I would put them in third place. Although I have them in fourth place, Jessica and Brian are for me personally the best all-around US team. Their lifts, twists, presentation, performance, everything is world class. If we looked at the individual elements, they are the number one US pair team. Unfortunately, skating is about the whole. And when it comes down to it, Jessica and Brian cannot put it all together and deliver when it counts. That's why I have them off the podium. Although I think the standing of pairs is already predetermined, I can't help but wonder what would happen if the podium turned out to be Audrey Liu and Misha Mitrofano for gold and Jessica Callahan and Brian Johnson wins the silver. I know this will probably not happen. However, what delicious drama for our mamas would this be? The US Skating Federation would find itself in quite the little pickle. And any way they went, it would be a shitload of storm coming their way. Anyways, do you think the podium will follow the status quo for pairs? Or do you think we'll have a new champion and the Federation will have some problems on their hands? Let me know in the comments below.